Good morning, everyone. I tested positive for COVID, so I'm going to be out until probably next Wednesday. And for the classes between now and then, I'm going to record videos each day, and you'll have an assignment on Google Classroom, we'll do the same sort of format that we've been doing, which is a couple of worksheets. So today we've got 2 worksheets. I'm going to do some example problems, and then I'll let you know which ones I want you to do. First off, Happy New Year. Hope you're all doing well. And we're going to start a new concept this semester, which is dealing with graphs and like 2D space in general. So we're going to do things a little more abstractly here on the videos, and while you're working by yourself, so when we get back in person, I'll show you a lot of the real world carryover from learning about graphs. So graphs are used to represent data all over the place, and it's one of the skills from algebra that you'll use most often later in life. Okay. 2 skills that we're going to learn today. One is how do you plot a point on a set of axes, and then how do you determine the slope of a line. So those are 2 important skills for working with graphs later on. So this is a general plot. It's got an x-axis and a y-axis. The x-axis counts how far away you are from the center line, so it's counting how far sideways you're going. So this would be 1 away, 2 away, 3 away, 4 away. And then it's got a negative direction too. So this is -1, -2, -3, -4. So how far sideways a point is given by its x-coordinate. How far up or down a point is given by the y-coordinate. Any point that you're given, it'll have an x value and a y value. The x one always comes first. So if you see 2 numbers in a parentheses like this, your first number is going to be x, your second number is going to be y. So this would be x, this would be y. They can be 2-digit numbers or 3-digit numbers. These are all pretty small numbers just because we're just starting out. But anyway, the first coordinate is x, second coordinate is y. So this point, this u thing, it's referring to a point on this plot. That point is 2 away from the center to the side, right? Because we got 2 on our x. Again, x is side to side. And then 0 up and down. So that means I go to 2, count over to 2, and then 0 up and down would just be a point right there. I'm going to call that point U, because that's what it says. For V, we'll do this again. So it says V is 2 over, and then 5, we got -5 in the up-down direction. So I'm going to go over to 2, and then I'm going to think -5 on the Y direction. So -5 is down here. So I go 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just 1 point. We're going to call that point V. Again, V is 2 over from the center, and it's 5 down from the center. That's what that point is telling us. Again, this is x and y. For W, -4, 4, that's -4 in the x direction, 4 in the y direction. So put my point there. That's W. Okay. This is x and y. The goal for this is sort of for you to be able to associate a set of coordinates with a point on a graph, and then also to do vice versa. So that'll be on the back of this worksheet. Okay, so with that, we've got our 3 points plotted. It says draw a triangle connecting the 3 points. I'm going to do one more as an example, again, just to kind of like walk through it. You're welcome to like pause this video, go back, whatever, but I'm going to leave you numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6, I think. Let me see if there's... Is there anything on the back of this? Yeah. Yeah, so just 3, 4, 5, and 6 are what you'll do. It's asking you to plot those 3 points and then draw a triangle between them. Okay. I'll do number 2 now. So f says -2, 3. So it's -2 and then -3. Again, our first coordinate is how far sideways we go. Second coordinate is how far down. You can see that this point is 2 sideways from the center, and it's -3 up and down from the center. So it's -2 sideways and -3. You can see it's -2 and -3. So those are both good. So it's called F. And then we got 2, 4, so 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Call that E. And then D is 2, 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Be D. Okay. All right, so you're going to do numbers 3, 4, 5, and 6 on this. The back page gives you points, and it asks you to state the coordinates of each point. So the coordinates are those two numbers in parentheses. So let me do this one here. So I'll find J. My question is, how far sideways is it? That'll give me my x-coordinate, and how far up and down is it? So to get my sideways position, I start from the center, right? This is my center line if I'm counting sideways, and I count how many over it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 sideways, right? It lines up with this line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sideways. That's in the negative direction. It lines up with -5. It's on the line for -5 there. -5, and then the y direction, we go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we're lined up with J, right? You can also look at 5 as the line that J is on. 5, 5. All right, we're going to do that for each of these. So I would be 1, 2 in the sideways, and then 1. And those are both negative, right? So it lines up -2 and -1. The biggest mistake I see on these is switching the x and y coordinates. So calling this -1, -2 instead. Also for plotting them, that's a big issue. All right, now let's do h. So h is on -2 for my x-axis, right? And it's on -3 my y-axis. You can kind of think of it like this if you want, right? So it lines up with -3 on the y-axis. It lines up with -2 on the x-axis. So h would be -2 on the x-axis, and then -3 on the y-axis. Okay. So look at our time. I'm going to try to record about 20 minutes of video. That should be good for today's class. You can just pause it and then work on these ones while I'm paused, and then you can play the video again once you're ready to move on. Okay, so let me do this one. So Q, this is just so you've got an example. Q is at -4, 2. -4, count 2. R is at 3, 2. Again, I'm always choosing my sideways coordinate first. So 3, count 2. And then S is at 4, -4. So S is at 4, -4. Okay. Good. So that's the first worksheet. Once you get this should go by pretty quickly. It shouldn't take too long to do it. The second worksheet is dealing with slope. This may be a new concept to you. This is how we associate a number with how fast something is changing. If you look at like a graph for COVID cases, it looks, it might have something like this. And it's going to have two axes. Instead of x and y, we'll call this like time, and this is number of cases. So as time increases, so this these would each be like days. The number of cases also increases. But it's not like constant. It's not like every day we get the same number of cases. To sort of give a number to how fast the cases are going up, we use something called a slope, which tells us how steep this line is. All right, and we're going to learn about this right here. Now, slope can either be positive or negative. It's essentially a number. If it's larger, it's saying that it's a steeper line, so more of a change over time. The way we get it is we count the rise over the run. So slope is given as rise over run. And slope is a number. It'll usually be a fraction. Pretty much always it'll be a fraction. You could turn it into a decimal if you want, but we'll use fractions here. The rise is how far up it is between 2 points, and the run is how far sideways. So we call this the rise, because that's the difference in y position between the 2 points. We're going to call this one run. Okay. So to get from 1 point to our next point, we go over 1, 2, 3, 4. That's our run, and we go down 2. 1, 2. So the rise equals 2, run equals 4. Okay. Now the next thing we have to worry about is its direction. So we could either have like 4 run and then 2 rise like that, or we could have 4 run and then 2 rise like this, right? So that would be like a line like that. Those have to have different slopes though, because they look like different steepnesses. It matters whether the graph is going up or down. The way we figure out and the way we indicate that is with the sign on our slope. So we'll either make the slope positive or negative. The way that, like the convention that we use is you always think about going from left to right. So we're always thinking about going from this point to this point, okay? If the second point is lower than the first point, we're going to say that that rise is negative. Okay, so our rise is negative 2. And when we write our slope, this would be negative 2 over 4. Okay, now we know that that's not the simplest fraction, so that's the same as negative 1 over 2. So negative 2 over 4 and negative 1 over 2, those are the same slope, but either one is right. So this would be right, or that one will be right. All right, now I'm going to go through and find the slope for this one. Then I'll do a couple more. Okay, so always start with the left point. So I know that this one's further down, but it's more to the left, right? So I'll start at this one, and I'm going to go to that one. So my run is just 1 point, because I go from here to here. So this is the run, equals 1. My rise is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Okay, and since the second one is above the first one, it's going to be a positive slope, right? When my second point was below it, I called it a negative slope. When it's above it, I'm going to call it a positive slope. So now my slope would be 5 over 1. I can't simplify that fraction anymore, but I'm going to leave it like that. Okay. This one, when you do it, you're going to end up with the same slope as number 1. Okay, so you'll count it out. That means that two graphs that don't look exactly the same can have the same slope. Again, slope is a measure of like how far tilted the line is. All right, I'm going to do 2 more, and then you'll have the rest to do for this class period, and that'll be it for our video. Okay, so I'll do number 6. Number 6 is tricky. All right, this is a special case. You'll see this a couple times. In this case, there's no point that's more left of the other one. So they're both equally lined up left to right. When that happens, we can't find the slope. We call that undefined. Okay, I think there's 2 others in this that are undefined. Yeah, there's 2 others that are undefined. So when you're going through and finding the slope, if you see one where neither point is to the left or right of the other, then just call it undefined. Okay, and I'll do one more. I will do number 12. All right, so I'm going to start off with my point that's the furthest left again, and I'm going to go to the point that's to the right. So this one's more left, so I have to count it over to that one. I got to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I count the sideways distance between them. That's the run. Then I'll count the vertical distance. This will be the rise. Okay, so run equals 4. Rise equals 4. Again, the rise is positive because we go up to get to our second point. So my slope would be 4 over 4. That's the same as 1 over 1, right? We can simplify that fraction. That's our answer there. Okay. So for class today, what I want you to do, I want you to work through both of the worksheets that are on Google Classroom. I know that they're each like 2 pages, but each of the problems takes a bunch of space, and they don't take too long individually. I want you to work through those on your iPad and then submit them to the Google Classroom before the start of tomorrow's class. And I'll take a look at those and then give you credit for them. If you got questions, feel free to ask your sub. They will probably know how to do slope and plotting points and things like that. So if there's confusion about the directions, or if you want more examples, you can have them help you out. If not, you can also email me, and then we'll talk about all this stuff when I get back. So we won't have a quiz on this until we've done until I've done preparation with you in class. But I will be checking these for you to submit them. Good luck. I'll send out another video tomorrow, and then I'll see you guys on Wednesday.